What is up, YouTube? It is Onion Bomb here, and welcome back to another Honkai Impact 3rd reaction video. Once again, back on the big animation and lore playlist, picking up where we left off last time. Before we get into it this time, I want to say apologies. Last week, I kind of missed like a Honkai upload. I know in the past I may have done a few Honkai uploads in more than a week, but in general of my different like series on YouTube, I kind of slowed down to one per week. Maybe one day I'll get back to a better pace, but the videos have been kind of longer, like an hour-long upload, so I thought it kind of balances out. But regardless, last week I didn't get anything out Honkai related, so apologies. Also, so I keep kind of mentioning and teasing doing some things that like aren't like just going through this playlist, but I haven't really done anything like that yet differently. But I do have a few things in mind. I've mentioned before. I do want to do that eventually. It's just things have been kind of busy lately, but hence, why I also didn't get an upload last week. But hopefully, maybe soon here I can get something out. But regardless, this is what going through this playlist is, pretty cool. And yeah, let's get back to it. We're in like part 1.5 kind of stuff right now. This one is a Homu Labs video, The Tone Deaf Idol. Who is Sergu Kira?
Oh my god, guys, I can't believe that Hoyoverse made this random stigma playable. Do you know what that means? We might finally have a chance at playable Dracula. And no, I'm not talking about Dracula at home. I'm talking about the real Dracula. Okay, so I found it extremely amusing how
that's a crazy take on Dracula.
People thought that Shigure Kira is just some random stigma that Hoyo decided to make a battlesuit for because of reasons. And to be fair, I don't blame people for not knowing who she is. Shigure Kira is a character that's been around for quite some time, but the majority of her appearances are in external materials like manga and visual novels. Since she finally had her debut in the main story of the game, excluding her brief appearance in chapter 25 EX, and y'all said that you're interested in knowing more about her in my recent poll, I made this video to go over her backstory. So, buckle up, people. It's showtime. Get it? Huh? Because she's an idol? It's show. No? Oh, okay. Shigure Kira was an A-rank Valkyrie who was part of the legendary Snow Wolf squad together with...
When did this release? When would this come out? 2 years. Bang! And that one character at Oshinoku. I remember when Oshinoku just dropped. That, time flies, bro. July 1st, 2023. Damn.
Priscia Highsmith, Chen Li Shui, Salome Yokanan, and Shubni Gurat. God, these names are hard to pronounce. No wonder Hoyo killed them.
Highsmith?
Imagine the nightmare of having all these
Alex Highsmith from the Pittsburgh Steelers?
in the game. The squad was led by Cecilia Shariak. Despite her youthful appearance, Kira should be in her mid to late 30s at this point. Maybe even early 40s, I don't know. The point is, she's been around for a while. The amusing part about Kira's backstory is how she joined Chixo. Kira's dream was always to become an idol, but unfortunately for her, she sucks at singing.
Oh.
Like, she's really bad. So bad that people wanted to literally weaponize the wave sounds of her voice. But even so, she never gave up on her dreams and continued to take on idol auditions.
I feel that. I can't sing for absolute crap either. I'm very glad I'm fortunate enough to not, my dream wasn't to be a singer or anything. Because I do not have any sort of...
Kira joined Shixal by mistake, thinking that she was auditioning for an idol program, when she was, in fact, participating in Shixal's Valkyrie recruitment program. After joining Shixal, Kira met Cecilia and became infatuated with her, proclaiming herself Cecilia's biggest admirer. After Cecilia and Siegfried got together, Kira became jealous and started spreading rumors about him, saying that he's a womanizer and that he smacked, all the Valkyries in a certain place. And no, I'm not kidding.
What? Wait, that actually happened? That is.
No, I'm not.
So every Valkyrie on the sense. Every Valkyrie is crazy.
During the second eruption in 2000, the Snow Wolf Squad was dispatched in the fight against Sirin. I'm not gonna go into details regarding the manga. It's a great story and I recommend you read it for yourself.
I that's one of the things I was alluding to earlier. I do want to do like a manga reading videos at some point. I just kind of need to look up like maybe a good order to like do it in and a good place to read. So if any recommendations, I'd be willing to take. But I tried to briefly look it up before. I don't know if I'm just stupid, but I was getting a little confused.
All you need to know is that the entire Snow Wolf Squad gets annihilated. The only remaining members were Kira and Shubni Goraz, and also Cecilia, who was trapped in an illusion by Sirin and had her own problems to face. As the last members of the squad, Shub and Kira were left fighting Bella. In the end, they managed to destroy
Bella, is that the name of the
artificial core, but Shubni Gurat lost her life. Kira was gravely wounded and ended up fainting. After the disaster was over, everybody thought that Kira was dead. But with the help of one of the sugars, Kira managed to survive. And you may be, sugars? What the are the sugars doing here?
I remember the sugars actually. I was gonna point that out. Was that one of those sugar things? It was on the shoulder. What are the sugars doing here? What are the sugars doing?
Shubni Gurat was living in a symbiotic relationship with one of the sugars called molasses. Similarly, we can also live in a symbiotic relationship if you press that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. You subscribe and I make more Honkai lore videos.
I might unsubscribe just to resub again because it gets me with the transition.
So, what are you waiting for? This is the same sugar that went missing during the Alien Space manga and was replaced by peppermint. The sugars are an alien species that have no physical form. They merge their consciousness with an artificial bubble universe called the Candy House. Since they have no physical bodies, they attach themselves to living hosts to exist in the real world. In this case, Molasses was attached to Shubni Guraz, but after she died, the alien needed a new host and moved to Kira, who was barely still alive. To protect her from further damage, Molasses transported Kira to the Sea of Quanta, where they ended up in a certain bubble universe.
The Randall VM.
A few years after the second eruption, Aro sent Durandal and Rita to the same bubble universe in which Kira happened to be. While stuck in the bubble universe, Kira got her hands on a special gem belonging to the Blade Durandal. The gem gave her the ability to sing and allowed her to become an idol despite being tone deaf. Bianca met her there while she was collecting all the gems to save the bubble universe. Kira and Bianca became good friends and Kira gave her the gem. Unfortunately, she also lost her ability to sing because of that. At some point, Kira was knocked out by a shockwave and ended up almost dying after falling in lava. Luckily, Nigurat, which is the name by which Kira calls Molasses, could heal its host as long as the wounds were not fatal. Trying to save Kira, Nigurat released its power, transforming Kira into an eldritch monster that looked like a mix.
I'm sorry. that is that is a wild name. The Wrath one.
Human and protecting her from danger. We see the same form in the Alien Space manga after Murata Ryusuke kills Peppermint and takes over his powers.
Shout out Omu Labs, but I'm not saying that one.
After Bianca saved the bubble universe, Kira and Nigurat ended up drifting again, but got rescued by the Candy House. Kira decided to join the Sugars, but due to Murata Ryusuke betraying them, the Sugars were very suspicious of humans and let her join only after 3 years of observation and only if she promised to never sing again. Okay, I made that last part up. She only had to go through the 3 years of observation. But wouldn't it be funny?
The Honkai
Believe it
Impact.
or not, Kira already appeared in the game. In Chapter 25 EX, Kira and Nigurat helped Durandal stabilize the bubble universe anchored to her. This allowed Durandal to pass on the burden of carrying the fate of the bubble universe to other people. In the current story, Kira encountered Sela and Susana after they got transported to a bubble universe in the Sea of Quanta called Salt Snow Holy City. Kira revealed that this wasn't her first time in this bubble universe. A few months back, she had an altercation with Mystaline and Prometheus here, but she was thrown into the Sea of Quanta by Mystaline. After she drifted in the sea for about 6 months, she managed to get back. She was supposed to meet up with Professor Schrödinger, but the professor got stuck in the country of Iron Sand while looking for her. It's worth noting that Kira and Nigurat also appeared in the Alien Space manga, where they save Wealth and Void archives from the Sky People's ship right at the end. Kira led quite a gem-packed life. She went from an aspiring idol to an A-rank Valkyrie. Then she almost died but was saved and became the host of a formless alien and got stuck in the Sea of Quanta. There she got to realize her idol dreams only to lose everything again. Now she is an honorary member of the Sugars and a drifter in the Sea of Quanta, going through different places and helping the Sugars deal with the Sky People.
Alright. Shigure Kira. Definitely a new character I just learned about. So yeah, has been in the game before, not too crazy like in like the main story, but definitely some interesting stuff on the outside material. Maybe I'll look into more of that in the future. Alright, we have Seely's Delicious Kitchen Honkai Chibi animation. This is not an official upload though, so interesting. Did this one get taken down for whatever reason? I don't know, but I like the chibi animations. Usually they're official on the Honkai page, but let's take a look at this one. Hey, the Seely's. Waiting anxiously.
可恶，那个家伙怎么还不回来？等他回来了，我非得……我回来了。你……啊？发生什么事了？你怎么看上去心事重重的？果然什么都瞒不过你呀，希儿。最近难得大家都空下来了，我想办一场聚会，感谢大家这段时间对我的照顾。所以，我在考虑要为这场聚会做哪些准备。我还是第一次邀请这么多朋友，稍稍有点紧张呢。一起玩？他们要是像小孩子们那样缠着你讲故事，那就没什么好准备的。当然不能这样简单的招待客人呀。或许我需要举办一个像童话故事里那样的茶话会呢。这样的话，就要把房间布置得漂漂亮亮的，还要为茶话会准备很多菜肴呢。要做什么菜好呢？哎，等等，别自顾自地忽视我说的话呀！希儿，多谢你了，我们这么快就确定了饮料的配方。少说客套话，我只是看不下去了而已。香香甜甜的饮料，大家一定会特别喜欢。啊，等一下，又怎么了？我差点忘记了，希儿不喜欢这些甜甜的口味。哼，你可算想起来了。那希儿喜欢姜茶吗？听说尝起来就是热热辣辣的生姜味。这什么奇怪的饮料啊？怎么可能有人爱喝这种东西？我再想想。热可可里面撒上辣椒粉。
Hot cocoa sprinkled with paprika.
算了算了，昨天你一个人在厨房忙了太久，我开始忙糊涂了。
I haven't had a nice cup of hot cocoa in a while. I would not sprinkle paprika on it though, but...
那当然了，我会的事情还有很多呢。希儿打算做些什么？好期待啊！当然，全部都是希儿最喜欢的饮料啦。太好了，希儿，做完以后也给我尝尝吧。我很期待把你的饮料加到菜单里呢。平白无故的，为什么要尝我做的东西？因为昨天的希儿很认真负责的给了我意见和建议呢。那好吧，既然这样，我就勉强照顾一下你的口味吧。好呀， 在希尔做饭的时候，我也装饰一下房间好了。还真是闲不住，真拿你没办法。怎么样，这下准备齐全了吧？总感觉。
So I think I get this. I think this was maybe in the game and just like recorded. I see the controls now. I still think sometimes those are posted on the page. Maybe I don't know, but I catch a glimpse of like a mouse. I think coming in.
多亏了希尔昨天的提醒，我才意识到，并不是所有人的口味都和我一样。
It's like one of those extra things actually in the
大家在一起
game.
聊天，只喝饮料会有些单调呢。我还可以尝试一些更有特色或者充满回忆的美食，说不定能给大家的聊天带来新的话题。你觉得怎么样，希尔？今天我只负责帮你整理客厅，别的事情我一概不插手。哼，也是，希尔忙着装饰已经很辛苦了，剩下的就交给我来吧。真是的，怎么感觉希尔要做的菜越来越多了？话说回来，你们几个确实有点偏食。啊？哪有？布罗尼亚姐姐很注意营养均衡，提安娜的饮食平时也有牙医在规划呢。哼，不许抵赖，那个提安娜就是证人，我可都记着呢。你们之前在盐湖基地的时候，天天跑很远的路，吃很多很多的蛋糕。原来是在说那个时候的事呀。什么事都瞒不过希尔呢。希尔果然很可靠呀。别想这样蒙混过关。多亏了希尔的提醒。借这个机会，我要做一些健康的菜肴，鼓励大家好好吃饭呢。哼，这还差不多。事不宜迟，我们快点开始吧。好吧，好吧。我怎么答应了？真是做了不少菜呢。希尔，怎么了？这副欲言又止的样子？刚才布罗尼亚姐姐告诉我，除了贪吃的笨蛋。还有一位孩子气的客人需要希尔的关心。头疼，怎么那个家伙也来啊？虽然我一时没想明白布罗尼亚姐姐说的是谁，但为了到访的大家多备一些菜肴，总是不会出错的。所以，我又稍稍扩充了一下菜单。希尔，我也有事情要忙。啊，希尔今天要做什么？不仅要帮着某个家伙试菜，还要更仔细地布置下这里。省得到时候被那个孩子气的客人挑三拣四。希尔想的真周到呀，那我也要努力了。唉，总算准备的差不多了，菜色变得更丰富了，我们的小屋也变得更漂亮了。这下应该够了吧？希尔，辛苦你了，我们竟然做出了这么多的美食，一定会让大家惊喜的。
Nice little setup.
再摆上可爱的甜点，
That whole cake
就
with
更
like
丰
a
盛了。
deer on it.
我说你啊，稍微休息一下吧。没关系啊，想象一下他们吃到菜肴的样子，我就充满干劲呢。哼，你还是这个样子，一点都没变。怎么突然这样说？你总顾着让别人开心，却常常忘了自己。像这种聚会，你应该首先考虑自己的喜好、精力和时间才对啊。或者，你可以再多做一些自己喜欢的菜肴。所以，我们都是希尔呀。可以说，希尔就是这样的才对。什么意思啊？因为你也是这样关心着我。哪有？即便希尔对烹饪没有兴趣，但还是真心诚意地帮助了我。我没有，少自作多情了。希尔的好心，我都明白的。哼，大错特错。我只有坏心。希尔明明给我提了那么多宝贵的建议，还帮了我很多忙。哦，是吗？我只是一时兴起罢了。接下来的事你自己去忙吧。可是我还是做了一个蛋糕呢，没有你的话，我就不知道它好不好吃了。好吧，我就勉为其难。你凑得太近了。快尝尝蛋糕吧，一定要如实评价哦。我只是在帮你试菜而已，才不是为了那些家伙呢。我知道。蛋糕胚松软香甜，奶油细腻轻盈。 口味上还是偏甜了。
The taste, she didn't eat it yet.
再加入一层焦糖海盐卡士达酱，应该能
It's
解
like
解
an
腻啊。
animated
或者点缀几
picture
颗酸酸的草莓。
wallpaper kind of like
对哦，这样也可
a
以。
GIF, if you will.
谢谢你了，希儿。希儿，怎么了？谢谢你这么喜欢我做的蛋糕。是你给的这块太大了，我只想快点吃完。虽然我不喜欢这种甜东西，不过，还不错。等我改进一下配方，希儿一定会更喜欢的。好吧，好吧，那我可就等着了。
Oh, that's it. Well, that was a nice little watch, as those chibi things normally always are. But yeah, the one with the two Sealies, they always seem to get along nice in those. I mean, they have like a, you know, in like the actual story there was like a thing as well. But they seem to be like friends at the not that they aren't in like the story, but I don't know. Maybe you hopefully know what I mean. But their slice of life chibi adventures are always pretty funny. I think aren't they like separated right now in like 1.5 kind of sorta. I thought that was the last thing. I don't know. But this is actually a upload from the official Honkai universe Honkai thing, and they updated profile picture. It was the Kiana logo for the longest time. But I think is that Alicia? I think I see yeah, that's Alicia. So I got really close to the mic there. This is a cutscene. You and me. Oh wait, let's check this one out. Oh, and this, I think this is something I've seen before, but I'm not sure what this one is. Let me see. It's a Saline. Oh yeah, they are like type separated.
あの子のこと思い出せそうなのに。
Injured on the hand.
ごめんなさい、セイレ。私今セイレ。
Is she forgetting her? I think maybe that's what was happening. I forget if that was talked about last time.
あの臆病ですごく泣き虫で私よりも強くなった子忘れられるわけないじゃないセイレ。
What is going on here? All the water and stuff. What the? Oh. Oh, is that the Sea of Quanta? They're reunited. I was wondering if they were separate. I think they're reunited now. man, that must have been a while ago since I watched that one, because I did not really remember that one at all. It's definitely been a hot minute. That was nice though. And I kind of, to touch on what I was trying to say before this, couldn't really get the words right. I think through, like, at first when they felt like Sealy was like a possession of Seele, like the red one was possessed of the red one, but like I feel like they kind of like bonded throughout the story, perhaps, because now they're like, you know, like try like wanting to find each other. I think there was like some development there, perhaps. At least that's what I kind of picked up on. Maybe not. Maybe they're always two peas in a pod, literally, like the same pod. Okay. But yeah, that was nice. I guess for in 1.5 they had a little bit of a separation there, but they're back now. They're back. Very nice cutscene. Very nice. What? This was a song that was in the back. Perhaps. Very nice OST. I liked how it was getting hyper as like the video was getting hyper. That beat drop though. Very nice. Not even like a crazy amount of lyrics in that one. Like I had started like just like kind of like instrumental, and then had a little moment at the end, just instrumental, and it had like a bit. Like it took a little bit to get going. It wasn't the longest, but I think that worked with the that song. Very nice, very nice. Honkai. Not just another banger, in the Honkai soundtrack. Okay, so now we have another Cocoon, chapter 38 story recap. So I'm guessing this is gonna recap the story that, you know, which is kind of represented how the two Seles get back together. That might just be what Homu Labs was about to
The
say.
two Celes have a touching reunion. Both think that the tower is their best bet to traverse between the bubble worlds, but they are wary because of Mistalin. Suddenly, the conversation is cut off. Mistalin appears out of nowhere and explains that the
You know what? This has been happening. I don't know why. For some of these, it sets me at like 360p. I don't know why. We can handle it. We can handle at least 720. We can probably even handle 180. I just don't want to like risk if having some internet, loading issues.
Much like how the cocoon of finality governs the proper world, the bubble worlds have their own unique laws. One of the laws of this bubble world is that the sage can go between the worlds of the living and the dead. Cele, as someone with two souls in one body, became the second sage after making contact with her counterpart from the other world. This ended up causing many anomalies in both bubble worlds. To prove that what she's saying is true, Mistalin teaches Cele how to use the sage's authority and gain a view of the city. Cele sees a bunch of quantum shadows attacking civilians and takes control over one of the oracles to save them. After that, Cele's projection goes to the country of Fire and Sand. During that moment, we see that Dark Cele can also manifest the sage's authority. After returning to her body, Cele is engulfed by a strong pain. The one chosen by the tower must also be trapped by the tower. This is another law of this bubble world. To stop the pain, she must get to the tower ASAP. Mistalin transports them to the bottom of the tower. Cele feels much better and they go inside. Vita remains outside since it might be too dangerous for her. After entering, the original sage tells them that they have to clear a set of trials she prepared for them. Cele is angry because the sage is wasting time while the civilians have to suffer. But the sage is like, yeah, no, you still have to clear my trials. While fighting monsters on the first floor, Dark Cele joins in. Schrödinger explains that they were able to re-establish the connection because they are in the tower and the sage's authority is more stable here. With some help from Mistalin, Cele and the rest keep a few stages, and after beating one of Prometheus's machines, they are allowed to go to the top. And speaking of Prometheus, shout out to Minotaur10 for finding the chibi Prometheus in the last video. Cele goes to a portal that is supposed to lead her to the sage, only to hear Dark Cele arguing with Fake Cele from chapter 36 inside a place that looks like their mind space. Fake Cele wants Light Cele to give up on being the sage, since it's a path that will only bring her suffering. After Cele refuses, Fake Cele retreats. Cele arrives at the top of the tower and learns that because there are two sages, the world is treading towards destruction. To stop that, one of them has to die. After a grueling fight, Cele wins and becomes the only sage of the high tower. The previous sage reveals that making Cele the complete sage was part of her plan all along. While the world stopped collapsing, the sage is looking weaker with every second. Mistalin appears out of nowhere and tells them that the authority of the sage was sustaining her life, since she is an abnormal stigma born solely to fulfill that duty. The two Celes are confused and demand an explanation. The previous sage creates a dream of the past to show them why she did everything. It turns out that the sage was just a local legend at the beginning, and not all the people from the bubble world believed in it. One day, Abnormal Stigma 14 appeared in the city and saved the citizens from monsters. Due to Project Stigma messing with the proper world, multiple Stigma-like entities were born in the Sea of Quanta and took different forms. In this bubble world, the Abnormal Stigma took the form of a local legend, the Sage of the High Tower. After witnessing Abnormal Stigma 14 taking care of this world, the two Celes wonder why would she give up on her role. Fake Cele suddenly appears and mentions that every time the previous sage transported a soul to the afterlife, she lost a part of herself. The sage realized that as an abnormal stigma, she does not have the power to stabilize souls, which is why they are stuck as wisps in the underworld. Fake Cele tells them that if they become the new sage, they'll be stuck in the tower, consoling souls for eternity. They are suddenly transported to the Sea of Quanta, where they witness Grey Serpent's death. He was killed by Fake Cele, who was born in that moment. She's actually a part of the original Sage that was discarded while she was transporting souls. As a final gambit, fake Cele decides to fight them directly. After she is defeated, Mistalin and the previous Sage send her to the Stigma space. It is revealed that this entire dream was a trap set up by Mistalin to capture fake Cele. Mistalin explains that she was another abnormal Stigma that she dubbed Abnormal Stigma 15, born from the Sage's will to live that fell off when she was transporting souls. Since she was literally her survival instinct, she wanted to do everything in her power to protect the Sage's life, and that's why she kept trying to pursue Cele and giving up. After Cele accepts the role of the Sage, Abnormal Stigma 14 thanks her and disappears. Mistalin confirms that the Sage didn't truly die and that she just went back to her Stigma space. While consoling the souls in the underworld, Cele suddenly feels a piercing pain. The world starts collapsing again and everybody is confused. Mistalin seems to realize something and apologizes, saying that replacing the Sage turned out to be futile and the two worlds are fated to collapse either way.
Act 2.
Cele is commanding the oracles to help the citizens. The situation is under control for now, but the collapse of the two bubble worlds is imminent. Mistalin says that the reason for this disaster might be related to a law of this world higher than the Sage itself. This law is accelerating the merging of the two bubble worlds. The reason why Mistalin brought the two Celes and Senti here was to use them as a template for harmonizing human and non-human beings. She wanted to observe how Light Cele, who is a human, and Dark Cele, who is an idea, can coexist, and use that data to find a solution and stabilize the two bubble worlds. Oh, and Senti and Fuhua were supposed to serve as a backup template, fact that really annoyed Senti. Unfortunately, Fuhua was nowhere to be found after the failed teleportation. Mistalin doesn't know what happened to her, but she trusts that she'll be fine either way. I mean, she's right, but Jesus, the lack of accountability on this woman. Mistalin points out that Kira might be hiding something for them. Kira admits that she kept something secret due to her distrust of Mistalin. Of course. But now that she figured out that Mistalin wasn't her target, she is willing to tell them. Flashback time! Kira and Nigurat were sent to a dead bubble world by the Elder of the Sugars on the suspicion that it might have a connection with the Sky People. Upon arriving, they find a bunch of constructs that look like the APHO monsters but have a white and purple color palette instead of red. Nigurat detects an electrical signal coming from nearby. While chasing the signal, Nigurat notes that the Sky People were designed into existence by another entity. That entity is who the Sugars are afraid of, not the Sky People themselves. They come across a man-made base, which is the source of the signal. Nigurat accidentally triggers a hologram of a man.
I call that character Wrath for short. The manager and many more have to say that known name. As Miracle Park Atlas. This was a sanctuary that served as the last home for the people of this bubble world. Charter shows them a virtual world that allows them to witness the past. Basically, what happened here is that the resources of this bubble world were running thin and they were in dire need of a new energy source. One day they discovered a new energy source called Star Rock, which the people claim to be very stable. Oh, and Kira dubbed this bubble world Fallen Star. As the years passed, the Star Rock became more unstable and started exploding randomly. While it was being excavated, the Star Rock was not a natural mineral, but a manifestation born of the wishes Charter?
of the people.
Is that like a hologram thing, or is he that blue?
Even more explosions all over the planet, the citizens were forced to retreat in underground bunkers. One day, all the Star Rocks on the planet exploded simultaneously, turning everything into a desolated desert. Not even the people inside the shelters were able to survive. Charter was an AI made in the likeness of one of the researchers to help manage the base. While telling his story, Charter suddenly goes insane and tries to trap Kira and Nigurat inside the shelter. After stopping the rampaging AI, they find the body of the real Dr. Charter inside the simulation. Near it, there is a slip of paper and a pen with the letter V. After returning to the Sugar, Elder Sugar Star Rock is an anomaly that shouldn't be ignored. He observed many bubble worlds that were mysteriously destroyed under similar circumstances. He thinks that the invisible malice hidden under the laws of the bubble worlds is the cause of this. This entity is the being behind the Sky People, the true abyss of the Sea of Quanta, Sa. Kira came to Salt Snow Holy City because she thought that it might be related to Sa. The reason why she attacked Mistalin was because she thought that she might be Sa's minion due to how inhuman she felt. When the Sugars observed this bubble world in the past, it only had one world in it. But at some point, another one suddenly appeared, just like the Star Rock from Fallen Star. Schrödinger says that the only being capable of creating another bubble world out of thin air would be the Cocoon of Finality, which means that this Sa must be a similar existence. There may be a way to save this bubble world by anchoring it to an external point. However, the only ones that could do such a thing would be Kiana herself, whose authority transcends all dimensions, or a Herrscher born in the Sea of Quanta. Since creating a Herrscher born in the Sea of Quanta is not a feasible plan, the only viable solution is to get help from Kiana. So, for this plan to work, they need an anchor point to move the bubble worlds closer to Kiana in the proper world. Mistalin wants to use the tower since it serves as a fixed axis in both bubble worlds. Cele can use the Sage's authority to find anchor points in space that, when linked to the tower, can create a world-level anchor capable of moving the bubble worlds. All that remains now is a path back to the proper world, which requires someone good at navigating the Sea of Quanta. Kira nominates Mistalin, who agrees after pondering on it for a while. Schrödinger wants to hear Vita's opinion, but Vita feigns ignorance. Suddenly, one of the oracles attacks her. She dodges the attack and the rest deal with the oracle. They find it suspicious that Vita had been attacked by oracles twice now. Vita starts panicking and mentions that there must be a problem with Prometheus's AI. Prometheus reiterates that the oracles have nothing to do with her technology and that they shouldn't attack any regular citizen. Kira accuses Vita of lying since she knew what AI was, despite claiming earlier that she never heard of it. Having no other choice, Vita reveals that she is not from this bubble world, but a refugee from Fallen Star.
NANI?
Dr. Charter was her friend, hence why the letter V on his pen in Kira's flashback. She was part of a team sent out to find a new home from the people of the bubble world, similar to Project Ark, and that's how she survived. The oracles kept attacking her because they could tell that she wasn't from this bubble world. And what's even crazier is that she's not a native of Fallen Star either. She is from Mars, I mean Venus. The Venusian civilization was destroyed by the Honkai long ago, and she fled into the Sea of Quanta. During her travels, she visited many bubble worlds like Conming's original bubble world and the ELF's bubble world. After explaining everything, they ask Vita if she can provide any help. Vita is in the possession of her interferometer, a type of nanomachine implanted inside the body of a human that can be used to calculate the future. With the right plugins, the interferometer can be used as a supercomputer to help them navigate. After Susanna summarizes the plan, the two groups begin their preparations. Vita, speaking to a small robot, guides Susanna and Kira to the location of the anchors in space. The recovery procedure continues to go smoothly, for the most part. After they arrive at the last anchor, Susanna feels a blinding light piercing through her body and wakes up to see Elviter in her Valkyrie uniform. She's 8 years in the future on the mission with the Immortal Blades to investigate a place that looks like Sand Fontaine. The events happening here might be during the attack of the Sky People in APHO. Susanna and Elviter retreat inside Saad Station, and after a heartwarming discussion, they meet with Durandal and Rita. Susanna gets so excited that she falls off a building and wakes up back in Salt Snow Holy City. Schrödinger and Senti get in touch with them, revealing that all of them had a vision about the future. Kira dreamt about the concert from her event story, while Senti saw a small planet at the border of the solar system. Gee, I wonder what could that be. Vita apologizes for messing things up and they move on to the next phase. Inside their shared mind space, Darkcele recalls what she saw in the future. The gist of her vision is that Lightcele died during the events in Salt Snow Holy City, and Darkcele blamed herself for what happened since she promised to protect her. She was so affected by her loss that she refused to accept reality. But what could she do? Lightcele was gone. Unless she became Lightcele. To cope with her loss, Darkcell started pretending to be Lightcell, to the point where she completely lost her real identity. Occasionally, she would remember the truth, have a mental breakdown, and resume the act from the beginning. What the freak is wrong with you, Hoyoverse? Like in the end, Darkcell lies and says that she only saw them having a bad argument in the future. Lightcell apologizes on the behalf of her future self and believes that no matter what she saw, Darkcell has her best interest at heart. Mistalin reveals that she used the remnants of Project Stigma to build a bridge to the proper world. Susanna is the best suited to carry the world level anchor on this path, since she's the closest to being a basic closest to being a regular Earthling. This girl is losing even when she's winning. Susanna has self-confidence issues, which make her hesitate and have a panic attack. Kira tries to help her build some self-confidence, and after an uplifting conversation, Susanna is ready to go. Mistalin opens up a path to the proper world, Vita will guide Susanna on the most optimal route, and Kira will accompany her as far as she can. As they advance, Susanna and Kira encounter a strange portal thingy. Kira says that it's a singularity created by Mistalin forcefully opening the Sea of Quanta. They must avoid it at any cost because it can throw them off of the right path. They encounter a giant wave of monsters and Kira remains behind to stall them. Susanna continues moving forward but gets caught by one of the singularities and thrown off to an unknown location. Vita tries to help her get back on the right path, but Susanna feels powerless to the point of crying. She blames herself for everyone's failure but manages to steer her resolve and continue her mission. She figures out her position and gets back on the right path. With her last ounce of strength, Susanna arrives in the Sea of Quanta near the proper world and meets up with Bronya, Tesla and Einstein, who are also searching for them. She tells them what's happening, however, the path back to the bubble world suddenly disappears. Vita, Mistalin and Kira, who are in the Sea of Quanta, also lose contact with the bubble world. Vita wonders if this is Sa's doing, after which she starts fading away and disintegrates into nothingness.
Interesting chapter, interesting story going on after the, the end of part 1. Yeah, I didn't realize part 1.5, went this deep and went so deep, and Sealy got like a whole, like, arc story thing more after. Pretty cool though, pretty cool. I thought if that did happen, it would like been like before like the end, and the end then would have been like the end of everything. But similar, I didn't know like a post Honkai Odyssey came out before the end of part 1. I didn't know that either. So that just all very interesting to learn. A very good recap of I like watching the real. It actually like feels like I'm like, almost like watching the the game. There's so through an explanation. Alright, so this next one is C 6th Anniversary Memorial Trailer. It is yet again another official upload, but don't see the red line, so I don't think I've seen this before. So let's see what this one is. Going back. Actually, I remember something like this. Maybe I didn't watch this particular version, I don't know. So much has happened. So much things I have watched too.
一人ぼっちにさせないから。
私たちが作れなかった未来を作りなさい。忘れられるわけないじゃない。
ゼレ、これが私とみんなの帰り道だから。
でも何より大事なのは、その後彼女は世界で最も美しいものに出会うということ。そう、
キアナ、
愛という宝物に。
これは彼女の物語。それは幾千幾万の他の人たちの物語。
これは私たちが共に作った物語。これは愛の物語。きっと愛に満ちた結末がある。
End with love. Dang.
何か足りない気がする。
Oh, Kiana on the moon?
そうだ。こうして次はこう。
Moon selfie?
これで行こう。キアナ、出撃。
Oh, happy anniversary, Gaio! Is it? Oh yeah, this was the picture I think I was talking about, the Kiana profile picture. She did the pose. She did yeah. 2017 to 2023. Dang. Even at that point, what a run. And yeah, I don't think they got part 2 started at this point. It's just you know, there's 1.5, so dang. Yeah, I mean, I definitely, you know, was later on the train, of course. I just, you know, just like a year ago, 2024, started to watch the videos and stuff, but definitely a great run. Glad to have been shown this series. I'm glad to have all you guys watching my reactions to stuff, and hopefully we can continue it, keep doing more. As there's still some more things to check out. Alright. One last video here because I've been recording for a little bit, and I think it's gonna put, this is an 18-minute video, so this is going to be a little bit next time is going to be a little interesting. After this we have a 30-minute video, and then in between another 30-minute video is a 17-minute video, and even after that it doesn't get a hell of a lot shorter with 14 and 12. So we're gonna be moving at a slow pace here. Like, it may only be like only like 2 or 3 videos for the next one, and maybe even the same thing for the next one as well, and even like not too much and beyond that it's 20. But just to scroll just a little bit ahead, peek at just a little peek. I'm seeing some part 2 stuff, so yeah, we're almost into like part 2 territory, which is a little crazy and wild, because like I don't know if we'll have like other videos about part 1 after that. I may have learned all I need to learn. No, I'm kidding. I definitely didn't do that. I definitely, there's so much lore, and like the actual like playing of the games probably introduces you to so much more as well. Like, I probably have a lot more as well. But as far as this playlist goes, I may be done with like the part 1 stuff, which is crazy. But hey, we still have a bit to go. But this is She's Not What You Think. Hersher Rebirth explained.
Now that the threat of
Homu Labs, let's go.
Over and all the Honkai energy is being siphoned to the moon, I guess we won't be seeing any more Hershers, right?
And it happened again. What happened again, bro? Why do they keep putting the Homu Labs videos at 3 at least? I'm going for it at what? 10?
I mean, we have no reason to. I'm sure that you wouldn't just milk the concept over and over, right? Hoyoverse? Can you hear me? Hoyoverse?
Yeah, boy.
After Hersher of Rebirth was
I'm not gonna lie, that might be me making Honkai reactions at this point. Like, I'm at like 6, almost 70 videos, bro. I mean, hey, I'm enjoying them. Still get some views and comments. Like, I'm enjoying it. No, but like yeah, I do feel like I've done a lot with this series without even touching the game yet.
People were confused. As far as we knew, all the
Like
Honkai
for a
energy
video,
on Earth is being siphoned to the moon by Kiana, so a new Herrscher should be impossible, right? Well, not really. Hoyoverse cleverly brought forth a new Herrscher while keeping true to their established plot points at the end of part 1. I said Herrscher in quotation marks because Herrscher of Rebirth is not really a Herrscher. I mean, she is, but not in the traditional sense. It's complicated, okay? But fear not.
Herrscher
In this video, I'm going
2.0?
to explain everything you need to know about Herrscher of Rebirth Cele, including how she's able to, well, exist.
Oh, this
I
is
mean,
Cele.
did you really think that Hoyoverse wouldn't find a way to milk their most profitable type of battlesuit just because part 1 ended? Huh? You're really underestimating. But before we begin, I want to address
So
a
Herrscher
small
of Rebirth.
misunderstanding about Honkai and Herrschers. The argument people like to bring up is that Honkai is sealed on the moon, so there shouldn't be enough left to create new Herrschers. Keep in mind that the word sealed is a very early APHO remnant that doesn't quite fit the current situation. Kiana literally tells us in chapter 35 that she will siphon the Honkai energy from the Earth to the moon. The Honkai is not really sealed, but it's redirected to the moon for a while. This is done for a couple of reasons. 1. To allow Earth to heal after Project Stigma, and 2. To find a way to convert Honkai energy into regular energy so that humanity can use it as a resource. Honkai is not meant to be gone forever, and it's not really sealed away. But anyway, let's get down to business. First, let's start with a simple question. What is a Herrscher? In chapter 34, we learn that Herrschers are projections of the Cocoon of Finality's powers through different dimensions. Think of a light source, aka the Cocoon, that sends light through, let's say, a prism, aka dimensions, to a fixed place, aka Earth. As light passes through the prism, it splits into multiple parallel rays. All those rays are the Cocoon's power manifested as different Herrscher authorities. Now, the next question is, why? Well, we didn't have a concrete answer before besides just, this is how the Cocoon works, I guess. The new story arc reveals that the Cocoon is like a system that can root itself in the laws governing the world itself and manipulate them to a certain extent. That is why, when there is a large amount of Honkai energy in a place, an imaginary singularity, otherwise known as a Herrscher core, will form, usually inside the body of a host with strong enough Honkai adaptability. But keep in mind, there have been cases of Herrscher cores appearing without a host too. We also learn in the finale of part 1 that Herrschers can have more types of authorities than we know of, but PE used a technology called imaginary group renormalization, aka Wheel of Honkai, to manipulate the Herrscher cycle of the current era and make it as close as possible to the previous era, so that humanity could use the information that they gathered previously to gain an advantage. This is interesting because it tells us that there can be other Herrscher authorities, not just the 12 that we know of. Now, let's take a moment to talk about the nature of a Herrscher. Like I said, another name for a Herrscher core is imaginary singularity, so we can deduce that Herrschers are, well, imaginary. In fact, we've known for quite a while now that Honkai energy has a connection with imaginary energy. This makes the birth of HORB seem like quite an anomaly. Professor Rock puts it best during the recent story arc by saying that a Herrscher born in the Sea of Quanta is a paradox since Herrschers are imaginary in nature. But now that we have HORB, does that mean that a Herrscher can be quantum? Well, no, not really. Herrscher of Rebirth is still very much imaginary while also being born in the Sea of Quanta. In fact, throughout the recent chapters, they even put the emphasis on the fact that they are trying to create an imaginary singularity. But then, the next question is, how could a Herrscher appear in a bubble world? Well, to explain that, we have to talk about Sa. During the latest story arc, a new entity called Sa was introduced as a new antagonist. Sa is referred to as the abyss of the Sea of Quanta by the Sugars. They are an entity that imitates the cocoon of finality and has the power to change the laws of the bubble worlds in the Sea of Quanta. Sa can create a system where the wishes of the people from the said bubble worlds become reality. Through this system, the bubble worlds are brought to the brink of destruction, and Sa collects all the energy released when these bubble worlds perish over and over again. Later, we found out that Sa is actually the real Vita, or whatever she ended up becoming after she gained powers from the sea and ventured to the depths of the abyss. All in all, we are still not sure what Sa is. I really hope that the second half of part 1.5 will give us more answers. Is Sa the same species as the cocoon? I don't think so. But what's interesting is that the characters repeatedly point out that Sa imitates the cocoon. The main word here being imitate. This leads me to believe that Sa is not the same as the cocoon, but it imitates its behavior. Just like the cocoon, Sa roots itself in the laws of the bubble worlds and controls them through its system. You can think of both Sa and the cocoon as computer programs that have certain functionalities. And one of them is creating Herschers. In other words, just like how Herschers are normally born through the cocoon's system, they can also be born through Sa's system. This is why I said in the beginning that Hersher of Rebirth is not really a Hersher. If we refer to Herschers as beings born from the cocoon of finality, then she is something else entirely since she was born from Sa. But in nature, she is still a Hersher. It's like having two programs that do the same thing. While the end result is the same, the origin is different. During the 6.8 Chinese dev livestream, the developers referred to Cell's situation as something similar to convergent evolution. Although I don't think that it's the best analogy, it's pretty much the only analogy that they could have given. Convergent evolution is when two different species end up alike due to them adapting to similar conditions. A good example of this would be ants and termites. While at a first glance someone would think that these two species are related due to their similarities, in reality ants and termites have completely different genetic backgrounds and ended up looking similar due to how both species adapted to their environment. While ants are believed to have evolved from early predatory wasps, termites share more genetic material with cockroaches. So, using that analogy, while HRB's origin is completely different, she still works like a normal version.
What I'm hearing is Sally's a cockroach. Okay, that's me. I like Sally. You did Sally to deserve that.
Imaginary. Even though she was born in the Sea of Quanta, her Hersher core is still an imaginary singularity. It doesn't matter who controls the Honkai energy in the bubble world. Be it the cocoon or Sa, Honkai energy is still imaginary in nature. The cocoon and Sa can have control over Honkai energy through their systems, but Honkai energy can exist independently of them. This was revealed by Schrödinger in chapter 38 when she said that Honkai can manifest in different ways in different bubble worlds from the sea, and that the cocoon has control over Honkai energy only in the worlds it chooses to operate, aka the real world for now. So, to reiterate, Hersher of Rebirth is not quantum. She's literally imaginary even lore-wise. But for balance purposes, she was made psychic in-game. This should serve as a lesson for the people complaining about her not being quantum, that context matters and that we shouldn't judge a character before we have all the information. Now that we understand the nature and origins of HRB, let's talk about how exactly she came into existence. Initially, to save the bubble world from Sa's influence, Schrödinger proposed the idea of a Hersher born in the Sea of Quanta. Since regular Herschers like Senti were tied to the proper world and not to the bubble universe, they couldn't transcend finality in this bubble world, so they needed a Hersher tied to this place itself. Unfortunately, due to the lack of information, Schrödinger declared the plan impossible since the only way to create a Hersher was through the cocoon, and the cocoon was in the real world. but Schrodinger's perspective changed after they learned more about Sa. Because Sa was imitating the cocoon, it had the same functionality, which meant that their plan became possible, because unlike the cocoon from the proper world, Sa's system was right in front of them. All they needed to do to create an imaginary singularity was to gather a large amount of Honkai energy in one place. To achieve that, Prometheus designed a precise task for everybody on the team. Prometheus was going to do something that only she could do. The two Celes were tasked to use the Sage's authority to support the rest. Kira had to gather the Honkai energy necessary to create the singularity with the sugar key. And you, dear viewer, were tasked with subscribing to the channel and giving this video a thumbs up if you want to support me and see more Honkai content in the future. Also, since Kira was the most suitable candidate to become a Hersher, Prometheus designated Kira as the host for the new imaginary singularity, thus the Hersher of Tone Deafness was born. After the plan started, Dark Cele realized that there was more to it than Prometheus let them know. Because they suspected that Sa was omniscient and was aware of every single word that they said and action they took, Prometheus formulated the plan in a way that would raise some red flags with the rest of the team. While Prometheus delegated Kira as the Hersher candidate and the two Celes as supports, the AI was actually implying that everybody should try to achieve the same thing and become a Hersher in a roundabout way to bypass Sa's omniscience. Prometheus hoped that Sa was only omniscient and not omnipotent, meaning that Sa couldn't stop everyone at the same time and that at least one of them would be able to create a new Hersher before it was too late. Prometheus also had her own plan that she kept secret from the rest. She wanted to use the same technology that PE used to put a restraint on the cocoon, aka imaginary renormalization group, to create a new wheel of Honkai, but this time inside Sa's system, and use it to create the new Hersher that way. It's important to mention that because Sa is less than a tenth of the cocoon's size, it cannot control the Hershers created through its system. If Sa was more than a tenth of the cocoon's size, it could have used the threads of fate to take control of the new Hersher in the same way that the cocoon did before Alicia cut off the threads. As Prometheus found Sa's roots in this bubble world, she was stopped by Vita, who was revealed to be Sa's proxy and was given authority by it. In the meantime, Kira used the sugar key to gather Honkai energy, and it was revealed that she couldn't become a Hersher anyway, since she didn't have the necessary Honkai adaptability, and she would have turned into a zombie or a Honkai beast before a Hersher. Despite Vita's interventions, and with Schrodinger's help, Kira managed to gather enough Honkai energy to form an imaginary singularity. In the meantime, the two Celes tried to gather Honkai energy by destroying the runes used by Sa to store it. To protect Cele from harm, Dark Cele used the Honkai energy to separate Light Cele from the body and transform her into an existence similar to an abnormal stigma. After that, she tried to gather Honkai energy by herself but failed to become a Hersher. As the merging of the two bubble worlds happened, everybody basically died, and the masterless Hersher core resulted from Kira's sacrifice found a new host, since Dark Cele was subconsciously rejecting it. As she was about to dissolve in the sea, the new Hersher core attached itself to Light Cele and created a new body for her. That is when it was revealed that the new Hersher had the authority of creation and withering, paralleling the Hersher of death from the cocoon's side. Using the authority of creation, Cele fought Vita, uprooted Sa's rules from this world, and created new bodies for her allies and inhabitants of the bubble world. It's important to note that the Hersher of Death/Rebirth cannot revive people. Arrow explained in the past that because the soul dissipates very rapidly when someone dies, not even the Hersher of Death can bring them back. All it can do is create a body for the soul to inhabit, but not bring it back. But due to Vita going easy on them and the unique rules of the bubble world, the souls of the people who died remained there, and Cele used her authority to make new bodies for them. I repeat, she was able to save them only because of the special circumstances of this bubble world. In any other situation, the Hersher of Death/Rebirth could not have brought them back. Before I end this video, I want to give a shout out to a YouTube comment made by user YTT on the You and Me cutscene posted on the official Honkai Impact 3rd YouTube channel. The comment analyzes the lyrics of the song, how they mirror real processes in physics, and how these processes are reflected in the story of the two Celes. If you want to read the comment for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description. I promise that if you like Cele even a moderate amount, it will be a worthy read. The comment also made me think about the whole story arc and how even though we got Hersher of Rebirth Cele by the end, the real protagonist was Dark Cele all along. Don't get me wrong, Cele matured a lot, but all her growth happened pretty much before the story arc itself. You can already see how much she changed during chapter 36. The one who truly matured and grew during this arc was Dark Cele. When Light Cele told Dark Cele that she wanted to remain separated even after all the fiasco in the bubble universe, it hit me that the purpose of this story was to finally bring the two Celes on an even playing field. Light Cele points this out herself. It was never fair for Dark Cele to have less than half the time Light Cele had. Because she left Light Cele in control most of the time, she missed opportunities to grow, make friends, and experience more meaningful things that could help her know herself. This resulted in Dark Cele being a lot more immature than Light Cele, a fact recognized by both herself and Senti. Even after Light Cele accepted her as an equal and shared the body with her without any restraints, Dark Cele was still left behind. While Light Cele could live her life and grow as a person, Dark Cele could not. Light Cele wanted them to separate to allow Dark Cele to grow and change. She didn't want to keep holding her back. Dark Cele never had a true friend besides Cele up until that moment, and it was very nice to see how she and Senti developed their friendship. By the end of this arc, Dark Cele managed to grow precisely because she wasn't tied to Light Cele anymore. She accepted the kindness of the people around her and Light Cele's determination. The old her would have never left Cele to fight Vita alone. But since the two of them trust each other unconditionally now, she knew that Cele would be fine. This separation not only allowed them to grow as individuals, but also strengthened their bond more than ever. All in all, this was an incredible story arc. Sure, it had some pacing issues, but overall it was a great story with a lot of character development.
I guess that's the one perk of, experiencing it this way. You don't have to, if there's pacing issues, you don't really experience that. But very interesting. So the Celes, they're now they're separate. They're like still, I think maybe still like not like literally in the same body anymore, but like still like together as in around each other maybe. I don't know if they like separated like that, but or just separated by a body. I don't know, but they are separated and have their own bodies now, so that's very interesting. And yeah, part 1.5, big Cele story. Very nice to learn about. And yeah, good watches today. The You and Me cutscene was very nice with the song. And shout out to Homu Labs. I think, yeah, he was the one who got 3 videos today, I think. And then there were 2 official ones, and then there was some of the in-game stuff. But yeah, next time we're back with Homu Labs and the entire history of the Honkai universe. And I think I saw one that was like the entire story of Honkai. So we are definitely coming down to, I think, when it comes to part 1 stuff in this playlist. But still a lot long. We are 155 out of 210. Maybe not. I don't know, maybe there might be some more stuff to come eventually. But Yeah, definitely getting interesting. For now though, guys, that is gonna do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like or dislike, subscribe or don't subscribe. You know, it's always up to you. I will see you guys in the next video. You watch it for me. Goodbye.